Turn it up.
I told you now.
Please.
You are worse than me.
Another year is ending. Shey you dey whine.
Welcome to the Butter Box Podcast, where we unpack the stories shaping Nigeria, and I'm your host, Baba K. And today we delve into the life and controversies surrounding Diezani Alison-Madueke, Nigeria's former Minister of Petroleum Resources, once hailed as a trailblazer. Her name has become synonymous with one of the most significant corruption scandals in Nigeria's history. Diezani Alison-Madueke's journey is nothing short of remarkable. Born in Port Harcourt in 1960, she pursued architecture at Howard University and later earned an MBA from the University of Cambridge. Her professional career began at Shell Petroleum Development Company, where she broke barriers as the first female executive director in Nigeria. In 2007, she entered public service, holding various ministerial positions, including transport, mines, and steel. That's steel development, if you call it. And ultimately, petroleum resources in 2010. That is 2010. Her appointment as the first female president of OPEC in 2014 marked a pinnacle in her career. However, her tenure was marred by allegations of massive corruption, missing $20 billion. And that was in 2014. The then central bank governor Sanusi Lamido Sanusi alleged that a $20 billion in oil revenue was unaccounted for under her watch at the Nigerian Petroleum Corporation, that is the NNPC. We cannot even forget her lavish lifestyle. Reports surfaced of extravagant spending, including the purchase of a $50 million New York apartment and even an $80 million yacht. And battles of legal actions piling up coming her way. In 2015, she was arrested in London by the UK's National Crime Agency on suspicion of bribery and corruption. Although released on bail, investigations continued. But the Economic and Financial Crime Commission, that is the EFCC in Nigeria, also charged her with money laundering and secured court orders to seize assets worth millions of dollars. But the Nigerian government, through the EFCC, has recovered significant assets linked to Alison-Madueke, and so many assets, over 80 properties, and all worth around $153 million were seized in January 2023. The EFCC announced plans to auction these assets, but Alison has contested these actions, filing suits to stop the sale and seeking the return of her assets. She argues that her right to a fair hearing was violated and she was not adequately notified of the forfeiture proceedings. Now, the scandal has international ramifications because authorities in the UK, US, and Nigeria have collaborated on investigations. The US Department of Justice has been involved in asset recovery efforts over the years. Some mentioned extradition efforts. Nigeria has sought Alison-Madueke's extradition to face charges at home, but however, legal complexities and ongoing proceedings in the UK have delayed this process. But Alison-Madueke's case highlights systemic issues, more like institutional weaknesses. The ease with which such vast sums were allegedly misappropriated points to significant lapses in oversight and accountability within Nigeria's oil sector. Now, the case of public trust. High-profile corruption cases erode public confidence in governance and deter foreign investment. And many people oftentimes have cried out for the need for reform, but the situation underscores the urgent need for transparency, stronger institutions, and a robust legal framework to combat corruption. Anyway, Madueke's story serves as a cautionary tale about the perils of unchecked power and the importance of accountability. As Nigeria continues its fight against corruption, it is imperative that justice is served, not just for the sake of retribution, but to restore faith in our constitution. And a lot of people have always clamored for this, always saying they need justice to be served. But let's also talk about the issue she has with Chude, the infamous Chude interview, the one that shook the internet and reignited the debate over her legacy. In what many saw as an attempted image cleanse, Diezani appeared remotely from a sit-down with Chude Judon. The optics were carefully curated, calm lighting, warm tones, subtle grace, but what stood out wasn't just her composure. It was her narrative she was trying to spin. The narrative she was trying to spin was what shocked a lot of people. She spoke about being misunderstood, about being a victim of politics, about how the system that once celebrated her turned around to bury her. And while that's not impossible in Nigerian politics, where loyalty is transactional and power is always shifting, the problem was in the lack of accountability in her words, because she refused to take accountability for what she was accused of. Now, there was nothing like any form of remorse, no real acceptance of wrongdoing, just soft deflections and polished storytelling. And Nigerians didn't take it lightly. No. We didn't buy it. Social media lit up immediately with rage. More like questions being asked, is this a Netflix redemption arc? No, she's painting herself as a saint while billions went missing under her watch. But some feel like this is a PR stunt that maybe just turned into a provocation for Nigerians. Anyway, what made it worse was Chude's tone. As a journalist and a documentarian with his history of humanizing public figures, Chude has been respected for drawing out emotional depth. But here, something changed. Many felt he softballed these questions, not once, but pressing her on the $153 million mansion or money or properties that was seized by the EFCC, the multi-million-dollar assets in the UK, or the allegations of money laundering involving former oil marketers and business moguls. It felt scripted, sanitized, safe, and Nigerians aren't stupid, of course you know that. They know the game. They've seen many fallen officials attempt to rebuild public goodwill through carefully controlled narratives. But what they crave, what they deserve, is the truth, not theatrics. The backlash wasn't just about Diezani, it was about what she represented. This wasn't just one woman talking. This was a reminder of how far corruption has dug its claws into the souls of the nation. Now, let's not forget she was accused of disbursing over $100 million in election slush funds. Over 60 houses linked to her across Nigeria were seized by the EFCC, and yet here she was giving makeup-laced answers with no one clear apology, not even one single apology from what she said. Now, let's zoom out, because Diezani's saga is not isolated. Globally, we've seen the pattern before. Yes, it has happened over and over again. Isabel dos Santos in Angola, Africa's richest woman, accused of plundering the nation's oil wealth through OPEC networks. Now, let's not also forget Imelda Marcos in the Philippines, diamonds, shoes, and all the audacity of public defiance. Even in the West, Wall Street execs walk away with golden parachute while the working class is left in the dust. Now, this is what elite captures looks like. So when Nigerians dragged Chude, it wasn't just because he was or because he interviewed Diezani. It was because it felt like complicity. It felt like another attempt to scrub clean a legacy soaked in oil money and controversy. And now the big question is, why now? Why the PR push? Well, it's not hard to guess. Rumors are swirling about Diezani's potential extradition to face a trial in Nigeria. The UK has already charged her in separate bribery case. So maybe, just maybe this soft press run is an attempt to reclaim public sympathy ahead of what could be a long legal battle. But will it work? Nigerians are watching. the world is watching, and while she may have friends in high places, the court of public opinion remains the one place where her wealth cannot buy silence. Because beyond the billions, beyond the power, beyond the interviews, there are still questions that have not been answered. Where did the money go? Who enabled her? And when will we see a conviction, not just a headline? Let's pause here. But this story is far from over. There is still more to unpack. Her allies, the silence of former colleagues, and the airy way Nigeria forgets too quickly. Anyway, a whole lot is there to talk about. But then, let's not forget that she also had her issue with Chude, and she decided to sue Chude for, daring to put out the interview and putting a twist to it. But this is the situation we face about Diezani. And the question we ask, will we get justice one day? Would she be brought to book? These are the questions we are asking. And this is where I call it an end to today's episode on the Batterbox podcast. Don't forget, you can follow us on all our social media platforms, and you can also stream on Spotify and every streaming platform. And like I always say, the matter does not matter until it begins to matter. Once again, my name is Baba K, and I'm signing out.
Bata bata, bata bata, bata box.